Sweets are an integral part of any festival. When it comes to Christmas, it's absolutely synonymous with a cake. Well, this is the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and today let's see a Christmas special plum cake. For this recipe today, I'm following a classic pound cake recipe. A pound cake has your butter, sugar, flour and eggs of the same proportion. First things first, soft butter goes in a large bowl. To this, I'm adding in sifted powdered sugar, and this mixture needs to be nicely creamed. Once this mixture starts getting shiny, I'll start adding in an egg at a time. Make sure after each addition, you cream this mixture well. Simultaneously, while beating the batter, make sure you're also turning the bowl around. Similarly, I'll add in all the eggs and beat this batter to a nice, smooth mixture. Your batter is halfway ready. Let's now move to the dry ingredients. For this, I need to take some refined flour. With this, some baking soda. Sieve these two ingredients together nicely. I'm next moving on to the soaked fruits. Well, I have some raisins here with me, which I have soaked in orange juice. I'm sieving all the liquid from the raisins and the black sultanas. This needs to be soaked at least overnight. I'm draining the liquid from both the fruits, and this now goes in the flour mix. Well, one of those major faults in the bakery world is when you make a cake, the fruits sit at the bottom. To avoid that, what we need to do is run these fruits into the mixture of flour and baking powder so they get nicely dispersed through the entire cake. Give this a nice toss, and with this, I'm also adding in another secret ingredient, which is candied peel. This peel is the peel of either sweet lime or oranges. This peel is candied in sugar syrup and dried under the sun. And next are some dried seedless plums, which are also known as prunes. The fruits are nicely coated with the flour, so this now goes straight in the wet mixture. Make sure we mix this batter nicely. To this batter, I'll also add in the reserved fruit juice, which I'd used as the soaking liquor. To add into the charm of Christmas celebrations, the most important ingredient to this is the spice mix. So let's begin with that. For this, in a grinder, I'm adding in some fennel seeds, star anise, black peppercorns, cloves, black cardamom, some green cardamom, cinnamon sticks, some nutmeg for its nice earthy flavor, and finally some blades of mace. Let's grind this into a fine and smooth powder. A tablespoon and a half of this spice mix goes into this batter, and now let's mix this nicely for the last time. Well, here I have a ring mold which I've lined with aluminium foil. Alternately, you can also use any mold of your choice. To this, I'm applying a little bit of oil, and this step technically is called greasing the mold. After oil, the next ingredient that I'm dredging is refined flour, because this would help in sliding the cake out after baking. I'm turning this ring around on all sides to make sure the flour is nicely dusted. And finally, I'm going to dab this out to remove the excess flour. I'm going to transfer this batter. With the back of a spoon, just even the entire top surface of the cake batter. This now goes in a preheated oven for 40 to 45 minutes. While the cake is getting baked, let's start making royal icing. Royal icing is a mixture of egg whites, icing sugar and lemon juice. So first that goes in the bowl are egg whites. I'm going to start whisking this till it gets lightly foamy. Once this turns nice and foamy, I'll slowly start adding in the icing sugar. At this stage, I'll be introducing lemon juice. Because of the acids in lemon juice, the royal icing is going to turn snowy white. Let's continue the steps of whisking and introducing sugar simultaneously. The royal icing is nicely whipped and ready. Let's keep this covered under a damp cloth till it's ready to use. The next step is making the holly leaves and the berries. For that, I have some colored fondant here with me. Well, fondant is something which is made with icing sugar, glucose and golden syrup. The recipe, the detailed recipe rather, is there in the description box below. So let's begin with making the leaves. I'm going to roll this into a very thin disc. It should be roughly a 1 mm thick disc. With the help of a leaf cutter, I'm just going to cut some leaves. Like so. Just dab a little bit of corn flour and continue cutting the leaves. Similarly, let's start making some more cutouts of the holly leaves. These leaves next go on this piece of sponge, and the sides or the edges need to be evened out. By doing this, the edges of the leaves get nicely curled and make them look as natural as original. After the holly leaves, let's move to the red fondant to make some berries. I'm going to roll this into a long cylinder and cut these at irregular intervals because berries could be of irregular sizes. Let's roll these up into tiny little balls. Throw in a little bit of corn flour and rest these till further use. The cake is baked and ready. Let's move it out of the oven. Allow this to rest till it has completely cooled down. The cake has cooled down completely. Let's start unmolding it. I'm going to run a sharp knife around the cake. Carefully remove the aluminium foil. Let's start frosting the cake with royal icing, holly leaves and berries. I'm going to give this a quick mix and pick spoonfuls and drop it on the cake. Make sure with the help of a bent knife or a regular palette knife, you frost the cake nicely and evenly. This could be as rough as possible. With the help of this palette knife, I'm just going to press the royal icing a little and make sure this rises into soft peaks. Next that goes on top of royal icing are some holly leaves. Finally, I'm going to take a little bit of water and just dab my palm. And on this, I'm going to place and roll a few of these berries. This is done for two purposes. One is to make it shine, and second is to create like an instant glue. Finally, I have re-kneaded a little bit of the fondant and I'm rolling this into a thin long strip. Keep dabbing with a little bit of corn flour to make sure this does not stick, and keep rolling it long and thin. I'm going to place this aside and start rolling the red fondant similarly. I'm going to press this at one of the sides and start intertwining these by twisting it around. Rich, fruity, sweet, with a touch of spice. That's all I can think of when it comes to a good Christmas plum cake. Well, enjoy this with your family and friends, and here's wishing all of you across the globe Merry Christmas.